following TBT interview with KHAOS by James Irvine and Matt Burns was pre-recorded via the power of the internet, which can cause some audio difficulties to appear, which we apologise for. Audio discretion is advised with this interview. We hope you enjoy. Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dudes and dudettes. I'm Matt Burns, and with me I've got my co-host, none other than Mr. James Irvine. And today we will be...
Fans.
Of course. And today on TBT Interviews, we will be interviewing KHAOS with a K.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's always good. It's always good to hear from you because we've known each other quite some time.
Many years.
And straight away he's in there. Do you want that bit of tissue for your nose again?
Really? Anyway, let's not go on to the childish antics, shall we, Mr. Irvine?
Excuse me. Are you calling a child?
I said childish. I never said child.
You still?
Are you okay, James?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Is he bullying you? Are you okay?
He's picking on. Stop picking on me.
I've seen him do this all the time. Every interview. It's
Whoa,
okay.
Whoa!
I know. Just every single time we go on to an interview, and it's just like, don't be so childish, Irvine.
Oh, I know. Why are you the co-host? Why are you not the host?
I'm just, apparently I'm his little bitch.
He's a co-host. I'm his co-host. That's why it's that. We're co-hosts. We're both doing
called The Burning Truth, and your name's Matt Burns. I mean, none of my business.
I see what you did there. But remember, I've been doing this from the start, many years.
Well, I legitimately hope that's the reason behind the name.
Yeah, I do. Oh, my knees burn. Oh, my knees. Oh, my knees.
I honestly hope that's the reason it's called The Burning Truth. I always thought that's why.
No, that's not the reason why.
I know why it's called The Burning Truth. I know why. I've just had an epiphany from the epiphany.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon he had chlamydia at the same time. He was trying to think of the name.
No.
Oh, it burns. Like when I pee.
Anybody is interested in finding out about the whole beginning of The Burning Truth, there's an actual episode long in the archives of The Burning Truth. Just thought I'd mention that. Anyway, we digress.
You digress.
We're back. We're here to interview KHAOS. And one thing I will say is, you've been a wrestler for quite a while, quite a few years, gaining some notoriety on the UK scene.
I at least hope so, yeah.
Well, you've been getting your name across up and down, and I've seen you've been getting a few new companies as well from time to time as well.
Which I'm thankful for, yeah.
Yeah. One thing I will just say is the first question I'm going to say is, how did it all begin? As in, what got you into wrestling?
So it was from a very young age. I can't give an exact age, but
no,
I remember it was the old video games. I used to love video games as a kid, and I remember just watching and playing games with my uncles and my dad and all that. And it was I think it was SmackDown vs. Raw or something like that. And then, my uncle was a massive fan. He had all these action figures and all this, and it just I don't know, it just captured my eyes like that. So I remember asking is there telly show or TV show, whatever, and I ended up just getting through it through that. So I've been just watching and playing video games and action figures for years. Still don't now, but did. And that's how I first came across the wrestling thing.
I still play with figures.
Go on.
I still play with my action figures.
Yeah, my little Barbie dolls. Yeah, still play with them.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I've got to have Ken in there as well as Action Man.
Did not expect an Action Man reference to come up.
Expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected. And the one thing with this is, how did you come across of being, how did you eventually, come across on finding a way of getting involved in wrestling?
So, like I said, it goes back to when I was watching it and all this. But I remember living in a house and we had a back garden, and the neighbour had, a massive trampoline. And I remember her not actually being there, so I was trespassing on it. But me and my mates used to go on this trampoline to do, the backyard wrestling on the trampoline. And where she had put it in her garden, I had a shed in my garden. So we used to actually jump off the roof, doing all these moves onto a trampoline and such. So
why did I just envision Mick Foley?
Elbow drops and RKOs and choke slams and all sorts. But so I used to do it as a kid, and then I remember the mates I used to do it. Obviously, they were a bit older than me, so they went to get jobs or whatever shit. But I remember when I first came across it, I was still watching WWE. I've always been religiously watching WWE and TNA and all that. So I remember I went on a camping trip in Colwyn Bay, I think it was, in Wales. And then we were there for about a week or two, I think. And then I remember there was something that came up on my Facebook because it was an advert that came up near me or something like that. And it was in Llandudno. I remember the only way I could get there from there was a bus because obviously I didn't drive or whatnot. So I remember leaving my holiday trip for 2 days early just so I could go and do this wrestling training. And my mate, to be fair, had drove it from, it was about an hour drive away. He had drove up to this thing just to do it with me because we'd never both been in a ring or done the actual training. We just, did it in the back garden. So I remember giving it a go. Everyone was dead welcoming and whatnot. And I don't know how to explain it, but I just fell in love with the training. And it's crazy because we do obviously a podcast over on the wrestling company I wrestle at, and we just did an episode with the head trainer. And it's weird because he said, it's weird because he said he's always noticed that new people had always come in too. And there was always one that really wanted to do it, and there was always one that was, used to do it or, have always fancied it. And then there was always the one person that would come back, and it stuck true to me once he said that because that's exactly what happened with me and my friend. So, yeah. Ended up going on holiday, and then, ended up going training.
That oddly sounds familiar. That's bringing a bit of home truth there. Wow.
So, yeah.
It's very true, that is. Yeah. Wow. That's a bit of a light bulb switching on moment there for us.
I must be the only one that turned up on his own, not knowing what the fuck to expect, and just turned up and just going, "Hi guys, I want to come and wrestle." And next thing you know, what is it, 16 months later, I'm still there.
I'm still loving it.
And still loving it. Just like you do, Big Dick Johnson.
I did wonder when that was going to somehow eventually turn up in the interview.
Good old James.
Matt Burns is more like, "Oh, guys, I just knew he was going to bring up my boyfriend's name."
Nothing wrong with it, Kyle.
Right. Let's get on with it. But anyway, as you mentioned training, the one thing I will just say to you is, how did it feel taking your first bump? If you remember.
I do. Like, it was strange because it was strange because obviously, like I said, I did the backyard and backy wrestling shit for so long, and I remember obviously the trainers were like, "Oh, do back bump," and I remember watching, like, there's a famous video of Triple H, like, he's ripping into these trainees on the tough enough thing. Yeah, literally, because they're not bumping properly or doing whatever. And so I remember, like, it just popped into my head, like, this is sort of how you do it. So I remember doing it, and the trainer, Win Williams, was like, have you done this before? I was like, no. He goes, right, well, he showed me then how to, properly do it, really. And then I remember halfway through the session or towards the end, he thought I'd been training before. I said, no, I've never ever trained. And he goes, oh, you've been down the road training here, or you've been up there training here. And I said, I've never ever trained. I said, the only time I've ever done wrestling is either battering my little brother, putting him through a wooden bed, or, throwing someone off a roof onto a trampoline. So
there's no better way to get into the wrestling business than chucking your brother or sibling through a wooden bed.
Oh, it's fantastic. Rock bottom.
All I'm just going to say is we don't condone violence or anything like that.
No.
And don't try this at home. Is what the message should be.
No.
Even though a lot of people do it.
No.
Yeah, but the one thing I'll always state is if you're going to get into the business, you've got to go to a highly recommended training school.
Oh yeah. It was a joke, not a dick. Don't take it so fucking hard.
No, I'm not. I'm just using this as an actual subject.
If it helps, yeah. I remember getting scowned. Like, I remember just getting shouted at. Just, like, breaking a bed. It's not the best, but I remember doing it. And then I remember going with my mate and breaking his bed by rock bottoming him on that as well. And his mum, like, ripped into him for it. I got off, luckily.
It's not my bed.
Exactly.
There's no better feeling than the fear of being beaten to death by a flip-flop.
Exactly. Or a slipper or a shoe or something.
Exactly. I covered this last week, and was it last week or was it the week before?
It was for the Mother's Day special episode.
Oh yeah, the Mother's Day special episode, when I was giving a shout out to my beloved mother of chasing me up the stairs with a flip-flop and basically trying to beat me to death with it.
And being a ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. You don't realise, like, parents and such. Yeah, parents and such have magic powers. Like, I know, for instance, now if my nine ever, went to hit me with a slipper or something, I remember this one time, she threw a slipper probably from a kitchen, and he went about 2 bends before getting into the living room and whacking me in the back of the head. And I don't know how she did it, but it worked.
I just can imagine how this flip-flop or slipper come flying round 2 corners and just snap straight between the eyes.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I was like, oh, wow. It's brilliant.
See, I'm not the only one who had legendary people in the family. It's great.
I think you need it. I think you need to get a slapped ass or anything these days. I do.
It builds character.
Yeah, it's character building. That's what we call it.
It's character building.
Until you do another stupid trick that I did. Me and my friend playing darts in my bedroom, and the dartboard was just about 2 foot above the radiator, and we were playing darts, and the dart landed in my radiator. Now, we found this really fucking hilarious. Decided to pull out the dart, and it was just like, oh, it's done nothing. So then we proceeded to throw another dart, just having a laugh, and it landed straight in the same place. What are the fucking chances?
Uh-oh.
and we pulled the dart out, and water started pissing out of it. Oh my God, I have never feared for my life so
That's
much.
2 flip-flops.
I was in so much, and my mum came up the steps. Mum, we broke the radiator. What do you mean you broke the fucking radiator? We broke the radiator. Yeah, we're not fucking having anything again. Took the dartboard and darts out of my bedroom. Took them away, threw them in the bin, and it was just like, stay in your fucking room. Stephen, get downstairs. That was my mate at the time. And his mum and dad were sitting downstairs. He got a bollocking off his mum and dad, and I was sitting upstairs like, she must really hate me now. And then about
no.
later, she came upstairs with a McDonald's, and I was like, oh, sweet.
Nah, I'll tell you what, yeah, the best times as a kid, yeah, is where like you get like a slapped ass or you get proper shouted at or whatever, yeah. You go to your room, slam the door, and you're there like, I'm gonna kill her. I hate her so much.
Like Stewie Griffin. Damn, you vile woman.
They're the best times.
Since the day I came out of your wretched womb.
And then about an hour later, Mum, what's for tea?
You slowly come down the stairs, peeking through the banister.
Is it safe?
Are we friends again?
You remember though when you used to do it and it's just like way too soon.
Oh.
And it's like, get the fucking stairs.
And then all you hear is
Oh,
I'll tell you what, yeah. It pisses me off now. I'm only 21, yeah, and I get pissed off at young kids these days. It's all about the fucking, Fortnite, and they're all just inside playing games, yeah, where when I was a kid, literally like a few years ago now, I was a kid and I was like putting people through beds, or we were doing backyard wrestling or football or rugby or British Bulldog or anything. And everyone's just stuck inside.
I know, yeah. When I was a kid, it was always like me and Matt Burns went to jiu-jitsu training together. We didn't realise this until a couple of months back, did we?
Yeah, it's scary, that is.
It's like, oh, God, yeah, I remember you. I used to get on with the lad that used to go there, and it turned out to be him. I was like, for fuck's sake, like a bad case of fucking chlamydia. You just keep coming back.
What made it worse is the fact that during that time was when I hadn't quite come out of my shell.
Or the closet.
No. I hadn't quite been able to be myself, as in, like, be able to stand up for myself. You know, with being picked on and everything. And
just lost a lung.
Just breathe. But anyway, it's just surprising it's just surprising who you know or you might re-encounter.
It's a small world.
Yeah, it's a small world.
I'll tell you what, yeah. Where I live, yeah, Holyhead, yeah. So obviously I've got a mate, AJ, in Stoke. I shit you not, the size of Holyhead compared to Stoke, yeah. It's like, I think one of your beaches is probably the same size as where I live. Honestly, that's how small it is. Like,
Stoke
I'm pretty
has a
sure
beach?
it's just incest. I don't know. I'm pretty sure everyone's just incest here. Everyone knows everyone. In all honesty.
That was not me saying it.
It wasn't me saying it, but I wish I had. Oh my God.
We don't
It's
fuck
like-
the sheep, we're incest.
No.
Is it like the film The Hills of Eyes?
Yeah. Rob Zombie, brilliant. Brilliant film, yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I did not think we were going down this direction.
Anyway.
I'm just trying to think where how do we... Right. I'm going to have to bring back straight into the original topic, which is wrestling, of course.
Yeah.
How did it feel doing your first match?
Oh, I just remember shitting myself. Like,
Nerves.
I remember being like, we were the first match on, I think. Well, my first proper match was obviously a Rumble, but my first like one-on-one, it was, looking back, it was so cringe. Like, I watched it back so many times, but I remember after the match, it like you just got an adrenaline rush. It was really weird because it's one of those where like you've obviously been training for months or years or whatever, and like although it hadn't, it might not go according to plan, you still feel gratitude after it because of what you've done. And like, luckily for me, like some of my family and friends had actually come because they know how hard I was training to just even get on a show. But I remember just feeling like gratitude after it, even though I was like shitting myself.
So it was nice having the the family support and everything.
Yeah, because I think if they weren't there, I'd just be like, freezer. But I remember feeling like good.
Freezer.
Yeah, freezer.
So basically, you're now turning into a Dragon Ball Z character.
Yeah.
You know why? Because he'd be the oldest motherfucker in the neighborhood.
This is why I like James more.
Yeah. Right.
Did you get that a lot?
Yeah. I actually do. What makes it even worse is even my own mother.
Oh yeah. By the way, has she met? I better not say it.
No, she will kill you.
No. She will kill me.
She has got a slipper ready with your name on it already.
Has she? Was it got too sexy?
No, just murder, death, kill, Irvine.
Murder, death, kill.
Oh, that sounds like some really crappy, fucked up parody, that does.
Would it be the other way around? Kill, murder, death.
You don't even get the game reference either.
No.
Yeah.
MDK.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Yes, and just got
And a film
again.
reference.
I have no idea.
Demolition Man.
I told you to stop watching Pornhub videos.
That was not Pornhub.
Brazzers?
It's definitely
What?
the Pornhub rest.
No, Demolition Man, a Stallone movie.
I know. Oh my god. Ladies and gentlemen,
Gonna be
what I
honest.
didn't realise is it's just Matt Burns is. Yeah.
Are you trying to break my brain?
No.
Right.
No. It's okay.
Anyway.
Do continue.
We shall. But I can imagine with the support and everything. And how did you feel after your first match? Was it just the energy, or did you feel with the accomplishment? Were you ready for your next match straight away?
No, I felt like there was a lot of. I felt like I had to still improve a lot, and like even looking back now, like I still feel like I still need to improve. But I remember after my first match, like I remember not feeling like ready for my next match straight away and stuff. But at the same time, yeah, go on.
The funny thing about wrestling with the wrestling business is the fact that one, you're always just shooting to the game. You're always learning to improve.
Yeah.
And you've also got to also remember at times as well, from time to time, the most harshest critic can be yourself.
Yeah.
Easily. Either that or your trainer. One of the two.
Busting my balls, man.
Damn!
Damn!
But at least probably in the long run, even though they were, giving you grief or anything like that, you probably knew, either if you didn't know then, you probably knew further down the road, they were actually trying to help you.
Yeah, I think that's where, like, a lot of people, I think, that, go to training and don't stick to it. I think that's where they go wrong. I think they, like, misunderstand trainers. Like, they don't see it as constructive criticism. They look at it as, well, this guy doesn't think I'm good. No, he think like I remember my trainer coming up to me and saying, "Your match was good, really good, but we still need to improve." But like you still get that support, but he's still telling you what you can do to improve.
Well, I think as well, though, you look at the WWE and AEW. I can guarantee you, a penny to a pound, that they still get that same criticism.
Mm.
It doesn't matter what level you're at, you're going to get that criticism no matter what level.
No matter what, yeah.
Footballers are just the same.
Yeah.
And
anywhere, any sport, I think, any sport you train for, you're going to get constructive criticism.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, even with Matt Burns and his fetish with cricket balls.
What?
We all know you love a bit of cricket.
We all know you love a bit of cricket, balls and wickets.
You've seen a bit of golf as well. I've seen him playing golf.
Not golf.
Fucking hell, Matt Burns. How many holes have you been getting your balls into?
Tennis. What else is there?
Oh,
netball? Do you like a bit of netball? Do you play netball?
No.
No? I'd love to see that.
Ping pong?
No comment.
Or
definitely.
Usual shuttlecock.
Definitely shuttlecock. He loves shuttlecock.
Yeah, he loves a bit of shuttlecock.
You're on about badminton?
No, shuttlecock.
Anyway.
Quite fairy.
We'll get back to it. With the whole wrestling thing, I can imagine, you're doing a few matches, building up some confidence and everything. And you started getting some momentum.
Mm.
How did that start to feel when you started heading towards like a bit of a goal, a bit of a plan, with a bit of a plan, potentially even when you were leading to your first championship?
Well, I've got to say now, I'm not one for having much confidence, like at all. Like I shit bricks on everything, but I do think when it comes to wrestling, like I do think I take it a bit serious at times because there's times I've heard, people, like I said, you get constructive criticism and then people criticize you for, not doing this or not doing that, or you're too serious or too comedy, whatever. And I get a bit wound up if someone says it. So I do think I've got a bit of confidence in it. But I remember my first few matches, it took me I think where I got confidence more is when you had come up to me about UKWA, and I think that's where it struck a nerve with me because I was like, wow, I feel like it got noticed, if you know what I mean. My hard work got noticed because I remember getting onto UKWA before my championship, but I feel you get goals before any sort of shows anyway. I think you have a goal to get on a show, and then you have it just extends, and you can't really tell what your goal is until you've reached one of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So for me now, my goal is to get on as many shows as I can. Yeah, and that's why I'm so thankful for my first opportunity with you, because obviously I didn't know how much of an impact you had on the British scene. And then once I came to UKWA, I remember just meeting all these people, Basham and Kelsey and all these different people, and it's that's what I like about UKWA. And so my fusion now, it feels like a family because all the trainees are now wrestlers on the show. So it's it's like a family there, and it feels the same at UKWA because it's the same, not the same people on every show, but most shows, not just UKWA, but everyone knows everyone, and it feels the same as Fusion. It feels like a family backstage.
And like a brotherhood.
I think that's why you get a bit of confidence in yourself as well, is knowing you can trust the people you're in there with, if that makes sense, because you're not worrying too much about them, because they can take care of themselves and they're going to take care of you, and it goes the other way as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way of looking at it, actually.
No, it's a good way.
So yeah, I think that's where I got a lot of my confidence. I think a lot of it as well is obviously my tag partner, Jay Shelley. Me and him started training. I trained for say 2-3 months before him, and then I'd stopped for a little bit. But then the time I had stopped, he'd started training there, and where the training was located, it was like an hour or so away from me. But obviously, I didn't drive, so I had no way of getting there. But I remember in the chat saying, "Oh, this, Jay Shelley guy, he's from where I live. Maybe you can catch up with him." And I remember, like, I've never met this guy before, but I remember the first time he picked me up on all the way there, we talked about fuck all. But when we did that first session together, it was like we didn't talk the entire session, but it was very much so very competitive because we were both good at what we each other doing. Mm-hmm. So it was. I remember just on the ride home as well, though. After that first session with him, we were just talking about like how good we both were and all this. But he's obviously on most shows that I'm on, and it's like I think he gives me a bit of confidence myself as well because I know he's there and he's got my back and I've got his sort of thing.
It's funny you bring that up because obviously our last interview was Benjamin Harland and his tag partner being in Jack Knudsen. Obviously, they are the best of friends and really good friends, and they train together. They try out different moves together, and just seeing what works in the ring, what doesn't, what does, and that close knit that you can get with somebody sometimes, it gives you that confidence, and you can see that they feed off one another. So if you've got as well, that's really good for you.
Yeah.
I've got that with Matt Burns. I've got it with a couple other wrestlers as well, Dave Del Vecchio, the Dosser King.
Yeah,
Charles Kelsey.
I was saying this to my head trainer the other day, and he actually again mentioned it in the interview. Back in the day, apparently a lot of, like I said, I've only been wrestling for a few years. I'm only 21, but he said back in the day it was very territorial. Where now you go all these shows and everyone backstage is helping each other, saying, "Oh, not even just backstage, but in these academies, I think everyone's trying to not be in it for themselves, but also help improve others around them." Because I think that goes noticed more these days than, "Oh, this guy's a big name." I think it goes more noticed if this big name's helping people around them rather than just in it for themselves.
Yeah, but that's how the British scene is going to blossom because all the units, all the academies and units have stuck together. They're going to be putting forward talent on different shows, and it's just going to be. I'm genuinely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
No, I really, really am. The British wrestling scene has been dead for so long, and now it's just pissing. It's really picking up in the last few years. It's just becoming something special now, and I can't wait.
Yeah, that's something I would actually agree with you on that, Irvine. Definitely, it is something that has been getting been building and building, and it's been doing really well for itself.
Well, you've been on the scene for years and years, haven't you, Matt? So you've probably seen this territorial sort of thing go on before.
Yeah.
Where now you can witness it, like Irvine said, like blossom to what it is now.
It's good. It's healthy. For me personally, I remember when I used to train in them days as well, and some of the old school training that used to be there. When I say some of the training, it wasn't just training; it was grueling. It was tough. And some could turn around and say, "Well, yeah, but you got to know you're going to stick with the business." It's like, not really, because the wrestling business will get, the non-stayers out regardless. Still, be it either the training stage during their initial debut match down the road, it does eventually get them out if they're not right for the business or they're not in it. A lot of people who are in it for the wrong reasons also, they sort of get involved in it and then sort of go away from it because they're not in it for the right reasons.
Yeah, it's sort of the British wrestling scene is sort of like it chews them up and it either spits them out or it can just fucking do wonders for them.
it's almost at times to some some could turn around and say to a degree a lot of people used to compare British wrestling as almost trying bashing into lumps of coal almost to try and make diamonds.
Yeah.
And to some degree, yes, it did work, but then from time to time, the odd hit would then crack a diamond and everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like, at the moment, with the whole scene, it is massively evolving and getting... It's going like almost in a completely different direction from old school ways. And regardless of it, one thing I will say is respect to the old school ways because they paved the way.
Yeah.
For this current generation, and hopefully this generation does wonders for the next one as well.
Yeah.
All I can say is that if it wasn't for hashtag speaking out, that a lot of the younger generation wouldn't really be getting much of a look in.
Yeah.
I see. This is why I love like British wrestling at the moment, is because like you said, like although we said earlier, like some people just come for the, give it a try, but then like I find all British wrestlers and promoters and anyone backstage, photographers or whatnot, they want British wrestling to succeed, or any sort of wrestling anyway. And I find like those people are sort of like, I don't know if I want to do it. Everyone else that is doing the wrestling or training and enjoying it, they're like, well, look, let me help you and we can show you how good it can be. They're not just spitting people away. It's like, look, let's show you how good it can be, because they want to get as many people into it as they can. Because although obviously, the speaking out movement, it was good for the cause, but obviously we got some bad eggs out of it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's brought the wrestling community closer, because you're looking out for people and stuff now as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are still people out there that need to be removed, but obviously, it will happen. It will happen.
You in time, yeah.
Great.
What's that?
I said you in time.
It does. It does in due time, but it's always been a marvel with British with wrestling in general. It has always been an absolute marvel, because at the same time you haven't just got the British style as well. You've got many different styles. And speaking of styles, I've noticed that you've managed to acquire your own style yourself.
I like to try and think so.
Any inspirations that you've borrowed from for it?
So it's a weird one. Like watching wrestling growing up and stuff, I found obviously like Rey Mysterio and all that cool, but like to me, the ones that stuck out, like my all-time favorite wrestler is The Undertaker. I just think like people speak the GOATs, but I think like he's gone until he's only just retired. I think he's like 56, 50. I don't know. He's like 50s. I know that. And like it's only recently started putting bad matches out, but they always stuck out to me. Undertaker and Kane, these dark entities, and I don't know why. Gotta be honest, I'm maybe just a bit weird. I don't know, but
no,
they always stuck out to me. They always just stuck out to me. I don't know why. But,
characters larger than life.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So I think that's a lot of it. Is like a lot of them have their own characters. So yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one to head down. Have you got any? So you mentioned Undertaker is one of your favorite wrestlers. Have you got any wrestlers that you would want to face if you ever could? Be it either on the mainstream like WWE, AEW, and everything, on the independents, and probably on the UK scene.
Favorites wise, I can't. Do you know what? I've got that many? I can't really name. I just want to face anyone and everyone, to be honest, because it's like everyone's just got their own style. Everyone's their own person and their own style. So to me, it's like I just love to get to know that. I don't know.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Have you got any dream matches that you would like to be involved in?
That's good for you. AJ Styles, I think, is brilliant.
Yeah.
John Cena, because that'd just be an easy match, and then you just take the 5 moves of doom. Undertaker.
Are you sure? Are you
Kane,
sure you'll be able to see him?
No. No. There's just so many. Stone Cold, The Rock,
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, all these. It's just, I don't know.
Any on the independents?
Oh.
If you know any, don't you know?
Oh,
if you don't,
yeah.
that's
I
fine.
don't really know who's on independence these days because everyone's getting snatched up. So I don't know who is independent anymore.
How about the UK scene then? Is there anybody you haven't faced that you'd want to?
Oh, there's also. I'd love to face like Rampage Brown and all that.
Oh.
But even locally, it's like I've had some good matches. Like I've only ever faced Luke Basham once. I'd love to face him. Unfortunately, CJ Connors is retired, isn't he? And I would love to face him.
That broke my heart.
I know. It was so unexpected. Like, please come back. Joe Black, I've always wanted to match with Joe.
Oh.
Like Joe, I've got a crush on Joe. Yeah. Let's be honest there. Yeah, I've always liked Joe. I actually, he gave me grief one time. His T-shirt, the Absolute Unit one. I remember going to an APW show, buying one there. And I remember I just wore it backstage to the Fusion one day, like just randomly. And I remember having it on, and I was in my gear and stuff, but I had that on, and I forgot to take it off. So I ended up like doing my entrance with his shirt on, and I remember him be like, "Why are you wearing my shirt in your shows?" I'm like, "Oh shit." I was like, "Sorry, I didn't realize." I realized after the bell rang, I was like, "Oh shit."
Oh dear.
But yeah, there's so many, like, there's so many hidden gems as well. That's what I mean. In the British wrestling scene, there's so many companies and so many schools and wrestlers. Like, you probably don't even know half of them as well.
Yeah.
You probably think you do, you don't. There's hidden gems, and I just want to face anyone I can, as much people as I can, to be honest.
As you mentioned, one of your matches that you've done in the past. I was just about to move on to any memorable matches that you want to mention.
Of mine, or just in
of yourself? Yeah, of yourself.
My first match, because I feel like that was a gate opener to me trying to practice better and train better. Mm-hmm. Winning my first title, because I remember it was a tag team Royal Rumble. Like, you were in it, and it's there was so many people in it, and I was in it from the very start, like number one. And I remember just being out of breath. It was like this thing where, like, the entire match, you would just get battered or you're battering someone. And it went for like a good 30, 40 minutes, I think. And I remember, like, the final moments after I took the final move, I remember like air just leaving my body. It was just like, woof. And then, like, obviously I won the title, and it was just, I was like, oh, I'm not going to cry. I remember crying. Because, like, again, my family were there, and I remember when I won, I looked over and I just started crying. You can call me a bitch or whatever, I don't care. But,
no. Everyone reacts differently.
Sign of a strong man is one that can show his emotions.
Yeah. Another one is, like, UKWA, like, my first match there. Because, again, it was a different atmosphere. And it's a totally different country, obviously, because I wrestle in Wales and it's England. But to me, after the match, it was just like I don't know. It was like a sort of not like you felt you made it, but you felt like you surpassed another step in my career, sort of thing. You booked on your first show. That's not your academy show.
Yeah.
So that stuck with me, and it always will as well.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was actually even the UKWA's debut show as well.
No, I wasn't at that one. I came to that show, but I wasn't on the first show. It was Sugar Rush, I believe. Fatal 4-Way.
Yes,
I think that was my Jay Shelley,
No, I just remembered
Keith.
you being at the first show. I just remember trying to think. Yeah, that was it. I remember you
Kieran
being...
McQueen, that's the one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
it
know-
was brilliant. Those guys can work as well. It was a shame as well because I remember Kieran had actually hurt his knee. So
Oof.
to be fair to him, he's a trooper. He hurt his knee in the match, but like I remember he still did all the stuff that he wanted to do, and he still sold for us and such. So to be
Brilliant
fair to
match.
Kieran, I'd like to think so.
Brilliant match. No, it was a good match. I remember watching it. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I'm still yet to work my way through that ones, remember?
No, no spoilers. Don't worry. Don't
I'm
worry.
just apprehensive watching the remaining, is it 3? Because there was 4 altogether, wasn't there?
It's
Was it 4 or 5? What was the first show?
4.
Is it 4?
4. It was
Yeah,
almost 5.
0 hour. We had 0 hour.
Yeah.
Then it was Sugar Rush.
Yeah.
Then it was
Ready for War.
Ready for, and then it was last one, which was Finest Hour.
Finest Hour.
See, I do remember he said see.
Yes, he does his research. He knows them.
See, I actually do this thing. My partner Josh always done because he mentioned Chris Jericho did it, but he keeps on his phone. I think it is on the notes. He writes down every single match he's competed in, and I've started doing that. It's like a memorabilia thing. It's weird. I keep all the posters I've got on myself as well. All the posters I'm on, I keep on myself.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing I want to do.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and I'm pretty sure you're probably getting match cards as well. You know, on your online, giving copies of them as well.
Yeah, print them off. I might keep them. Take a screenshot, print it out. I'll keep it. No one's good. I'm not selling it or anything. Do you know what I mean? It's just
it's memories. It's memories. You know, you can always find fond memories just from certain pictures. So some of the ones where I look back at on some of the ones I've seen where I've been on a promo picture, it's like I look at it, it's like, what was I thinking then?
Oh, you mean like the time that you were dressed as a Teletubby?
That's brilliant.
Or the time that you did a SpongeBob? Ripped pants.
Do your best SpongeBob impression, please.
Oh God, I don't know if I can do this one.
I've heard your voice before.
I could try his laugh.
Oh God! So, have you ever heard of a cat making weird sounds? That's what it sounds.
I do believe.
I think he's under pressure.
You know, it's like just imagine a cat being strangled and then shook around at the same time. That's what it sounded like.
You're gonna tilt the cat by its tail, swing it by its pigtails, yeet.
And no cats were harmed in this interview at all.
No, but I can imagine that some pussy was.
Giggity.
Oh, right.
There's always one.
Hello, where this is going.
But yeah, no, I can imagine because I remember you. It's like the reason why I brought it up is because you mentioned about your match with Basham. I believe it was a tag match, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you know what? Yeah, I was so thankful for that match. Yeah, because Basham was obviously injured going into it, but he wanted the match, obviously. But I remember I think it was the day before the show. He had messaged me asking, Matt Burns is booking Finest Hour, blah blah blah. He said, are you bringing your gear? I said, I think so. Yeah. He goes, oh, okay. And then I ended up getting a match against him. I was like, oh, okay. It was very surprised, but I was so thankful for it because I've always faced him and CJ.
One thing I've got to say right now for the record, and this is involving no spoilers as well. I have to give credit to you on that match. The fact that it was the opening match and the show had a bit of a glitch with it with the match order, if you remember, because we originally
It was brilliant.
it was originally meant to be you were meant to be like second or third on the card because everyone was arriving a little bit late due to some traffic.
So what I got told is you were the first match on. So I was like, okay, cool. So we get to the venue or whatever. And then I remember Luke and CJ hadn't turned up because the traffic, like you said, because it was so busy. So I think you'd pushed it back, to be fair, so they could get there in time, yeah?
Yeah.
And then, so they got there, and it was like, I think it was 20 minutes before the show starts, because obviously, I remember the traffic was so bad, because we came from Wales. So they got about 20 minutes before the show. So they were getting ready, saying hi to everyone and all that. And then about 5 minutes before, you know, the first match came on, we were talking, you know, whatever. And I remember mine and Jay Shelley's music was playing. And I was like, Jay. He was like, what? I was like, that's your music. And he was like, no, it's not. I was like, Jay, that's our music. And he was like, how'd you know? I said, because I got that off someone custom made. I said, that's definitely our music. He goes, oh no, Matt Bird's probably got, someone else going out. And I went, that's our music. I remember grabbing him to the curtain, and by the time he even had a chance to say no, I was out the curtain, so he had to follow.
No. It wasn't me grabbing you to get you away from the entrance. It was
I had grabbed Jay.
Yeah.
I dragged the curtain. I was like, come on.
I just remember me just sitting there thinking, what's the music playing?
Yeah, I remember.
Right.
So, James, if you ever watch that show back, yeah, I mean, Jay take ages to come out. That's why we were like,
Yeah. All I'll say to you is, they didn't actually have a full amount of time to even prepare for the match. And then, the lads went out, Connors and Basham went out against you. And it was the match was absolutely great to watch. Even I've rewatched it myself and watched it over, and it was like, it doesn't look like it looks like it was been fully lit, best laid plans.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate
As you can imagine.
I love hearing feedback, so thank you.
And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, they've managed to pull this off
with 2 minutes, like prep.
Like 2 minutes. The card suddenly was meant to be changed, then switched back suddenly. What's going on?
It does happen. Like, I've heard, I think that's why it gelled so well, though, is because, like, you hear about these sort of stories with other people and stuff, so, I think just so happened it happened, but oh well. And I enjoyed it, though. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I hope that never happens to me, because I've got a terrible memory.
Oh, we're going to ensure it happens to you. Like fish.
No, the funny thing about it is sometimes you'll have something happen, and and then you've got to prepare for it. And from time to time, I've done it. I've done it myself when I was up against somebody, and they just turned up. Okay, you've got the tag match. They're going to take longer, right? Matt, you're up, but your opponent's just arrived, and this is what we're going to, it was just literally, instead of you planning, preparing anything, we need you to go out and pretty much cut a promo. What?
On the fly?
On the fly, to stall.
Right. Sounds about right.
I had to stall, and then as soon as my opponent comes out, looking like, getting big cheers, we ended up having to do the entire match during it.
Sounds about right.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
But, yeah. I remember it was brilliant, though, looking back, considering we had 2 minutes, prep.
But then again, sometimes some of your best matches are the ones where you've got next to no prep.
I strongly believe in that. Yeah.
when it's just off the cuff. But everyone has a different experience. Everyone's different. Some people can do it off the cuff. Some people can't.
Yeah.
Everyone's different.
I'll tell you what. Those two are so talented, though. Connors and Basham, because it's like I remember being fans of them for like a year before even like properly meeting them, and it was just like, so you know their move. Like I know their movesets. I know their movesets. So like if they're like, oh, we're gonna do this and that, I'm like, yeah, okay, instantly, because it helps. I find I'm a firm believer in you do your homework on your opponents.
Oh yeah.
Or your tag patterns. It helps. It like so much.
Yeah. Definitely. No, I agree with that. Because if you don't know what your opponent's going to be planning, you're like, okay, what's coming up? It's like, it's like, which direction are we going? Are we going this way? Are we going that way?
Hey, Josh, how long have you been training for them?
Josh? You mean James?
James, sorry.
Mr. Irvine.
I'm so bad at names.
Wow.
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll take you out on a date. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
There you go. You got
promises.
3 days.
Don't you threaten me with a good time.
Sorry,
So,
James.
You would like to know when Monsieur Irvine has been? How long has he been training for?
Yes, sir.
Since last January.
Oh.
Since last year, January.
Have you been a wrestling fan for like years?
Oh God, yeah. I'm not like I'm. My slogan is, I'm not a wrestling nerd.
Yeah.
But I'm just a nerd that loves wrestling.
That makes sense.
I can't remember every single thing. I haven't got a brain like Matt Burns where I just sit there and just go, oh, well, this happened on this day. Yeah, fucking I said, no, that's wrong. And it's like,
he's a true Mac.
And it's like, I don't do the history. I can only remember what I remember. But, it is what it is. But I've been a wrestling fan myself since it was about 3-4 years old.
Yeah.
How
And
old are you now? 52.
that drinks tally's just gone up by 2 or 3 now.
It's a good thing I don't drink. It's all yours.
But I do.
Everybody does.
I'm drinking for both of us now.
I do it all the time.
And if you really want to butter him up, slip him a can of Monster.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with a can of Monster.
Nothing wrong with a can of Monster. But if you feel me out of that fucking cowboy shit, I'll fucking do you.
I'll tell you what, I love doing podcasts with like wrestlers and trainees and stuff, because as much as it's like, our guest is KHAOS, I like hearing about them as well. Like, this is why I listen to podcasts before I come on them, because I love hearing about people's backstories and such as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, mine's like pretty straightforward. My first wrestling experience was my uncle used to buy VHS tapes.
The VHS and the DVDs and stuff. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
the golden
days. It didn't deal in DVDs.
The golden
fucking hell, I think we lived at fucking Buckingham Palace.
He's on about the golden era of VHS.
The golden era.
Yeah, the golden era of VHS. Where
would that be the Coliseum years?
That would be the years with the Purple Lightning cassette cases.
Ooh. Now he's going retro.
That is so retro. You're talking like, what? Fucking hell. I was born in 86. So maybe, I think probably the first one I ever watched was in 1990.
Still before my time.
Right.
I should imagine it is so, young man.
'99 I was born.
Jesus Christ. I was quite a fair bit older than you. You were just a twinkle in your head's eye.
I remember, so my granddad, yeah, he was always like a wrestling fan, his biggest, like he was the Ric Flair's biggest fan. He loved Ric Flair. And I remember he had like an entire big box of DVDs from like WWF and WCW and all this. And I remember catching up with like all of the shows before any of WWF and stuff. So I was up to date on the WWE product like back then. So I remember talking to him about wrestling, and he showed me all these DVDs. I remember taking so many home and like just keeping them because I wanted them.
Translation: you stole from his collection.
Well, no, he let me borrow them. I just never borrowed them back.
No, translation: he never asked for them back.
No, he asked for them back.
Oh.
He just never got them back.
Oh.
But I remember the one. I can't remember the actual WrestleMania. I think it was like WrestleMania 20 or 18. It's the one with the TLC and the Hardys and Edge and Christian and Dudley's. I remember that was the first DVD I'd watched. But it was brilliant.
I remember. Was it the first ever TLC?
I think so.
Wouldn't that have been the Royal 2000?
No, it was the one, right, where they had the two ladders in the middle of the ring and they had the table across, and Edge and Christian won it. Spoilers, if you haven't seen it.
And if you haven't seen it, you've been living under a rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
Just not the rock.
Well, you could be living under the rock. I mean, you never know.
I see what you did there.
Oh, did you know? I know now what the Rock was cooking.
What was he cooking?
That burns his knees.
Kyle, stop bullying him.
I never did anything.
Who's Kyle?
I don't know.
Why is my cousin involved in this?
No, I was just about to say, why is your cousin getting involved in this?
I have no idea.
Let him out the closet again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Trick question. He's always been out of the closet.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find the actual pay-per-view for you now.
I'm sure it was WrestleMania. I am sure it was.
Oh, hang on a minute. No. Wait, Matt Burns is on Google again.
Uh-oh.
Tappity tap, 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 tap.
Do you reckon he uses Google?
Oh.
He does during a quiz. I know that.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
In actual fact, the WrestleMania one was the second one.
Ah, see, second one then. There we go. But yeah, that was one that stood out to me. I've always liked TLC matches since.
I think, if I'm going to go off from what I think it's WrestleMania 17. I think. Don't hold a grudge to me.
Someone will let you know in the comments, I'm sure.
Pretty sure.
Oh, yes. We have had a few people that like to remind Matt Burns that he doesn't know everything.
Yes, I know.
It warms my fuzzy little heart.
I'm already checking up on it now.
Oh, that's it. Make sure you triple check.
I am making sure of it.
You know, wouldn't it be nice to actually have a host that knows what he's doing?
Yes, I was right. 17.
17? There we
17.
Go. What a good lad.
WrestleMania 17.
Which was end of an era.
Was end of an era.
Many, many moons ago.
And if I'm not mistaken, that also had that amazing hype video as well for the main event.
Yeah.
They've had a good few, I think.
Yeah. Was it My Generation?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. Now that we've covered some of that, one thing I usually sometimes ask some of our guests is, have you actually got... Okay, it's all the time. Have you got any funny stories involving wrestling? Some traveling stories, road stories, or any funny stories you're able to tell? Or would like to share?
I haven't got many, no. Or if so, I've already pretty much said them. No, I think I've already said any, to be honest, if any.
Fair enough.
I can think of.
Fair enough. No, that's understandable. That's not a problem.
Well, Burns to kill the conversation with a silly
How
question.
About you? Tell us some of yours.
I think I've covered some of mine already.
You don't want to hear any of my funny stories.
No,
I've got no funny wrestling stories
yet. Coming soon.
Although there was one time where I did a backwards roll, and on the way up, as I was going into the handstand, I farted as I came over.
And there we go. Anyway, for me, if you want a funny story involving Irvine, I'll never forget when he was practicing a certain move.
Okay.
What move was that?
Radio silence.
Oh.
Yay.
And how did that go?
It went well for him. Unfortunately, the person taking it botched it.
Yes. Who was that person, Mr. Burns?
God, I hope it was you.
Yes, it was.
And do you like to remind everyone? What do you like to remind me and tell KHAOS why you botched it up?
I made sure you were safe. I just took the landing completely awkward.
Yes. And he also forgot that he got a big pair of moves. And as the leg came down, he didn't adjust properly. And he got absolutely flattened.
Just up, that looked cool. You okay? Give me a minute.
Actually, I have got one story similar to that. We had a ring session, and you met him actually. Do you remember Ethan? Like tiny Ethan.
Yes.
He had like the gold face paint. He was like tiny, right?
Yep.
I mean, like 4 foot maybe. So he was going over moves, and he was like, "Oh, I want to go for what was Spike Dudley's finisher? You know, the one that turned into a cutter.
Oh,
like running the rope into a cutter. Yeah.
Which version do you want me to call it? Do you want the original ECW name or the WWE name?
Either. Just so people know.
It was originally called the Acid Drop.
Yeah, well, anyway, that. So he obviously got me into the snap now, ready to go for it. And he goes, right, I'm going to go up and over. Now, to me, when he said, up and over, I thought he was going to do that sliced bread. You know, the one where it's like a, it's like a backflip thing. So I thought he was doing the Brian Kendrick thing where he runs up the back and then,
bread / Shirinu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought it was, because he goes up and over. So luckily, because he was so small, he obviously went for, his version of what he wanted, the acid drop, whatever.
Or double dog,
so I thought he was going for the sliced bread. Yeah. So I grabbed him when he was like, feet in the air above my head, And obviously he thought he was going for the cut, but I thought he was going backwards. So luckily I had thrown him backwards, so he landed okay. He nearly got dropped on his head, but only because he was so small that he didn't get dropped on his head because I was able to throw him over.
Ooh.
Was that
So-
one what the fuck moment?
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite lucky. Oh, actually, that's another one. This is one I've been holding in, actually. Right, so the Myatts, you've met both of them, I'm sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
Keith and... Yeah, right, so... awesome guys. Like,
Yep.
let me just... They're brilliant. Like, they came for... I think they were coming for a show, but they also had a seminar beforehand.
Yep.
And what you can learn off them is, like, so brilliant, honestly. I think, like, they just both give, like, such good input on different things. It's unmatched. But, so we're doing this, training session beforehand. And Keith Myatt goes, in all my years of, wrestling, I have never, ever personally had a ring break.
Uh-oh.
Now,
Oh dear.
he's jinxed it, hasn't he? So we
Shouldn't
were
have
in
said
the
it.
ring, right? And then the crisscross procedure when you're in the
Yeah.
ring running the ropes and you're doing, one in front of one, we're doing that.
If you want to explain, just in case for the listeners.
Yeah, so you'll have one going one way, so rope to rope, opposite direction, and then you'll have someone going the other way, crisscrossing. So you try and keep up the same pace, so it's perfectly timed. Now, I'm quite a stocky lad, so I like to hit the ropes, so you legit get a leverage off the ropes. So, because obviously he said this, I remember hitting the ropes, and I must have hit it so hard this top rope went. Now, bear in mind, in this rope, it was a metal wire surrounded by a hose pipe, surrounded by rope, and then tape. So that's a lot of leverage on this rope.
Oh
And
dear.
I completely snapped it in half. And I went backwards onto my head. Now, luckily, I took my head so I didn't, injure myself.
Yeah.
I remember looking up and Keith was in the ring just looking down at me going, well, that happened. Bear in mind, this was a show that those two were on. So we actually had to try and we had to take the actual rope off. Yeah, we had to because we didn't obviously have any spare ropes, so we we had to take this rope off completely and then put a piece of string and just tape it. But we changed that to the bottom rope and then changed the ropes around because this rope had got so snapped because I ran that hard at it, and I thought that is him jinxing it. Him saying, in all the years I've wrestled, I've never seen a ring break. I thought tonight's going to be the night.
At least it wasn't At least it wasn't multiple rings in a row.
That's true.
Not naming not naming names, Kelsey.
It didn't happen after FC Dub. Didn't he? He snapped two, didn't he? He snapped two ropes.
No. It wasn't even him.
Or was it AJ?
No. It was one of the other lads who was smaller than him. It was like one of the smallest lads. He got ready to explode off. And there's Kelsey just looking over. He looks at me. He's like, "Really?"
Where did you go from there? Because it's mid-match as well, isn't it?
Oh no, mid-match. And they managed to finish it. He managed to adjust it. But what made it more funny is I'm calling this match I'm having to call it, and I'm literally just going into it's like they don't hit them ropes, soft or anything. All of a sudden, boom! That's how hard they hit the ropes. They snapped it.
Oh, it was brilliant though. Luckily mine had happened before a show, so it wasn't in a match or something. But I remember just shitting myself after it, running the ropes in that show. I was like, I'm just shitting myself because what happens again.
Would you like to know the 3 rings you broke?
Go on.
One was FCW.
Oh, he's broke 3 rings. Oh,
Back to back.
okay. Perfect.
Back to back. One was SCW. One was United. United.
Yeah.
That one. If you're in the audience, you knew. You
Yeah.
just hear. You just
I've
hear from
seen where they are. Yeah, they're quite close, aren't they?
the. You just hear the body slam, and it's like a boom. It's like he's broke the ring, hasn't he? No, I haven't.
Oh.
You broke the ring. No, I haven't. End of show. Broken board.
Well, I remember we
And the
had
third one, you should know it.
What?
It was actually a fusion.
What did he do? I can't remember.
It was during his match against, I believe, AJ. I think
They
Parts was one
popped
of
the board out, didn't they?
Yeah,
They popped the board fully out, didn't they? With
Yeah.
I think it was duplex or something.
it's something like a superplex or
Not
something.
surprised me with Kelsey at all.
What's that?
That does not surprise me with Kelsey at all.
Especially with the way he hits some superplexes or gets hit by them.
I'll tell you though, yeah, he's one of the biggest, like the biggest men I've ever seen. He can go, like he will do anything willing as well. He's so like caring about people. Is like he will. Like, he's not gonna like it. He doesn't like praise. I know he doesn't like being praised, but he'll do anything like people want him to do. Because like he's just that good of a guy.
Really?
Say that
Really?
he's my granddad. Yeah, he knows this.
He's also probably going to be your next opponent as well.
He's my wrestling granddad, and yeah, he'll probably kill me. He will kill me. He's told me he will. He's my wrestling granddad, and he said he'll kill me.
Cue the Dosser bomb.
Oh no!
It's all right. He's just keeping that belt warm for me.
Oof.
Oh.
Oof. Challenge. Oof. I will say as well, he's been losing weight, hasn't he? He's been doing that. He's been doing. I don't know if he's on a diet or what, but
No, he's been doing a lot of cardio.
Oh, has he?
Loads of cardio. He's very good at running his mouth.
Oh.
That's quite. Ooh.
I'll say this to you. I call him the king of cardio. Genuinely.
He can go. He can
For
go.
someone his size, the stamina he's got and the cardio he's got is just unreal. I've seen certain cruiserweights against him, and they're like,
yeah,
wrap up time. Nope, we're not done yet.
He's got a loud voice, though. Oh, my days. That is... like...
Why do you think I would say to him, lower the mic?
Have you ever seen, like... Have you been shouted at you? Like, have you seen a dad sneeze? Like, you know how people not sneeze normally, and then your dad's there, like, you know, Godzilla. Yeah? That's Kelsey talking. Kelsey talks like Godzilla. He's like, it's terrifying. It's like something out of like Resident Evil. But then behind the scenes, like, he's just this like.
Kelsey, nemesis.
He's a Godzilla. He is. He's...
Instead of stars.
Stars.
Matt, you've met, yeah. This is what I compare it to now. You've met Creeper, haven't you?
Yeah.
Big, tall, yeah. Oh.
Big, tall dude.
He's an animal as well. Fair play to him, but
bear in mind that during one of my surprise debuts for a certain fusion show, if you remember, I ended up keeping Creeper out.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I remember, right? So the tag rumble, Kelsey and him, like, but like they were like, yeah. There's a trailer out now for King Kong versus Godzilla, and that is what it was. It was Creeper and Kelsey, and it's like Godzilla versus King Kong. It was just brilliant. Kelsey's Godzilla though, because of his mouth. Jesus Christ, yeah.
Why he's the king of cardio.
I'm surprised he hasn't got a more like defined jaw. Have you ever seen like these supermodels, where they've got like these like exercising things for the mouth and they're like chewing on this like squidgy ball or whatever, yeah? Oh. Kelsey should have such a defined jaw because of how much he talks. He's gonna hate me. I'll get a message after this, but oh well. He didn't even mention. I was disappointed. He didn't mention me. Didn't mention his own grandson, his wrestling grandson.
He didn't need to. He was saying thank you to everybody involved in the wrestling business, so that includes you.
Mentioned his son. Didn't mention his grandson.
Yeah.
No, I love him. He is. Do you know what? He's like my wrestling dad. Well, AJ's my wrestling dad, but he's like my wrestling grand.
Well, one thing I'm going to have to say next, is there anybody who you want to give any shout-outs to while we're on the interview?
I suppose, yeah. Well, my Fusion Academy, people, because I wouldn't be where I'm at without them today.
Understandable.
Shout out to UKWA and you personally, because, you were my first breakout show, I guess.
Appreciate it.
Never know how much it sits with me.
Yeah.
My head trainer Win and Scott and now Ry Lloyd, because to be fair, I know trainers charge people, but Win has always done it for free. No matter what, he's always trained people for free. And he didn't even he said on the podcast he didn't even come in as a trainer. He wanted to just come and wrestle, but he took up the trainer role because he knows what he's on about. And him and this Scott is just they've changed my world. Honestly, they really have. That's not much I can. It's just everyone I've ever met as well, because they've always been so humbling. And
it's hard. It's really difficult to sort of go through all the names that you've already mentioned and everything. And it's one of them. You feel like as though if you miss one off, it's like, oh no, I hope they don't think I'm. It's like no. And it's not that.
There's just so many Kelsey, AJ, Basham, Connors, Black. You and any. I'm so thankful for the wrestlers I have met, because not one of them has been smug or arrogant. It's always been, it's either been constructive criticism or what I've done well. It's never been harsh. It's always been, let's do this, or you could do this, or they've always helped me. And to me, wrestling has changed my life. I'm so passionate about wrestling. I just want to do it every day. So I just want to say thank you to anyone that's, ever met me and always been there by my side and gave me a chance. Even just doing this interview sits with me, because this is the first interview I've done where it's not been Fusion. This will probably sit with me for a good while as well.
That's always good to hear.
That's always good to hear.
Genuinely. And of course, do you have your own social media? Is there anywhere where they can buy anything, to support you?
I've got no merchandise at the moment, but shout out to Mr.
Fucking God, this fucking
I know.
No fucking merch.
No merch.
I know. No, I will shout out to Jamie Gilbert. He does some amazing, I can't remember what's his company. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I can't remember his company name. His t-shirt business. That's the one.
JG.
He's fantastic. His quality on t-shirts are so good, and for the price that you're doing it as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's brilliant as well. But no, I haven't got any merchandise just yet, but he'll be the guy I go to if I do.
Disappointed in this lad.
Gotta get those in.
Of course.
Fucking merch.
But is there anywhere where people can connect to you, get in touch with you, your social media and everything?
So my Instagram is at KHAOS_is_here. My Twitter is pretty much the same, but it's at Anarchy. _is here. And then my Facebook is just Chaos Pro Wrestler.
No, that's all understandable, and genuinely, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Genuinely.
Thank you for having me. I feel like it's talked loads, but thank you for having me. And James, I love you.
Aww. Friends.
I'll take you out on that date to say sorry for calling you Josh. Don't know why I called you Josh.
Look, lad,
Do you know what the problem is? I know so many people with the J name. That's what it is.
You know what? I'm noting this down for future episodes of the Burning Truth. Oh, just little notes, tidbits. Just bring up from out of nowhere.
Take you out on a date, though. Well, am I going to have to take him out on a date?
Yes, you will.
Can I just take you KFC? What'll that do?
That's fine.
That'll do. Either that or Mackey's. That'll do.
That's a win.
What do you prefer?
Like the good old Scouse trick. All right, Della, do you fancy going down to fucking Mackey's?
Should we just eat it in front of Matt Burns here? Just at a show. Just eat it in front of him.
Yeah, I reckon what we should do is get some, because obviously he suffers with diabetes, unfortunately, but it's still nice to eat chocolate in front of him.
What's your favourite chocolate, Matt?
I'm not saying that now.
I'll just buy everything.
If everyone was wondering why I was quiet in the last 10 minutes, it's because I've been playing with a toy out of a Kinder Egg.
It's trying to make you jealous.
And yes, I'm actually being serious.
No, what toy was it, though?
It's just a table spinner.
What? Oh, they're the worst ones.
Yeah, it doesn't justify, like, the money that you spend on a Kinder Egg.
It's like at Christmas when your nan gives you socks for Christmas.
Oh,
Your nan gives you socks? Wow. I get...
If you got anything.
well, bear in mind that we've at least still got Kinder Eggs, in the UK. In other countries, they're actually considered illegal to bring them in by plane.
Oh my god!
Can we talk about the price of Freddos and like fudges and
stuff?
Yeah. Before we end the show, like, what is going on? Why is it like 50 quid to buy a Freddo?
Well, I will tell you this now, that when I was a kid, it was 5 pence.
It was.
It was 10p. It went up a bit when I was a kid, but it was 10p.
It was 5.
Pocket.
It was 5.
How much is? I'm sure it's like actually like 45p, 50p.
It's about 50.
Yeah,
50p now.
It's not just Freddo. It's like, what is it? A fudge, curly whirly. That's another
curly
one.
whirly.
And they've shrunk as well, fucking curly whirlies.
Oh my
and
god!
Freddos.
The dairy milk, the little. Do you remember the like really thin dairy milk bars you'd get, and it had like 3 pictures on it?
Yeah.
They're like 30. Like, what it's just ridiculous. Like
Animal bars.
Animal bars. Oh, they were great. Yeah.
Sugar tax. That's why.
Oh, blooming hell!
Fucking sugar tax. You, Kyle. You and your diabetes did this.
No, that's what it did to me.
This.
What's that? What was that?
Stop bringing his cousin into this.
It's his cousin's fault. I know
Curse you!
God damn it!
God damn it, Kyle!
God damn it, Kyle! Screw you, Kyle!
That's one thing that needs to change, though, is prices on chocolate.
Yeah, definitely.
Ridiculous. 20.
I can agree with that, and I'm a diabetic.
And I love
exactly.
fudge. I love fudge.
Fudge is brilliant. Mate, I hate people that say they don't like fudge. Fudge is brilliant.
Fudge is brilliant.
Once again, I'm a diabetic, and I like fudge.
Don't nudge the fudge if the fudge won't budge.
I'm trying to think what else it was. What was it? Curly whirlies. Chomp. That was another one. Chomp. That was basically a curly whirly, wasn't it?
Yeah, curly whirly.
I like the names for like brand things in different countries. So it's like you've got Pringles over here, and then somewhere else you've got Prongles.
No, that's actually in the UK. That's in the UK. That's the discount ones.
No, they're still from another country.
Ah. Please continue.
Prangles, whatever they call them. Instead of what was it now? Oreos.
Oh,
I know what you're
Neos?
gonna say. No.
No, it was quite a perverse name, wasn't it?
I need to know it. What is it?
Oh, it's something like fill me in creams between or something.
Yeah, that was it. Oh, fucking hell. It was something like that. It was like fill me up creams or something like that.
Oh, God.
That's
I'll tell you
why-
what, have you ever tried a Twinkie?
A Twinkie.
Yeah, I love Twinkies.
They're all right.
Yeah.
I think I hyped them up. I think they're hyped up more than they are.
Oh, no.
Mini roll. I love me a mini roll.
No.
Oh.
Twinkies are, oh, baby.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Oh, baby.
Let's get you Twinkies.
Let's get him some Twinkies. He's set for life.
I'll make him.
Just be careful on that one, because I know a certain person that used to give me Twinkies, and I don't like that person anymore.
Can I ask why? Is it a personal reason?
No comment.
Yes, because they are a cunt.
Is it Willy
No
Wonka?
comment.
I'll fill you in later.
Oh. Anyway.
I'll tell you on the situation.
Anyway, that's going to be a wrap up for this interview. Thank you very much for being on the show. For everyone who's listened in, thank you very much for listening to this interview. Genuinely been an absolute pleasure. We hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll catch you either at the next interview or even at our, on our broadcast, which is every Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
And you should be hearing this interview on a Wednesday.
Of course, on a Wednesday. So genuinely, we have to say thank you to everybody to listening in. I've been Matt Burns.
I have been Monsieur Irvine.
And our guest has been KHAOS. KHAOS. Thank you very much for having on the show. So this is going to be a wrap up. So from the burning truth, it has been emotional, and we'll hopefully catch you soon.
Because it makes fucking sense.
Until then, catch you later.
Makes sense. Bye-bye.